Greetings everyone, good morning, good afternoon and good evening. I tell hello to everybody who is watching right now my video, and today we're gonna have the Starsand. Starsand is a survival crafting adventure game, and you play as the marathon runner who gets lost in a powerful desert sandstorm and collapses in a nearby house, awaking to find a mysterious new world, surreal in both its differences and similarities of the world. They knew as you embark on your journey into the vast desert's expanse, you quickly realize that survival won't come by accident, and even the elements alone pose great danger to you. Well-being Starsand's tutorial will guide you from the house to your first humble yet precious oasis, as well as teach you various rudimentary skills for survival like crafting tools and building shelter stars. Sand does come with a very healthy learning curve, and one of the first lessons with the game was just how dangerous it. For starters, is a huge static map, and at this point the game development there is a lot of open desert space between the landmarks, leaving the comfort and safety of your well-provisioned as is on. Food generate no small amount of anxiety because you can walk for 5 or even 10 minutes straight and see nothing but sand. When you hunger and these are criticals, it's no nerve reacting to be heated up at the nearest dune. Still thinking about the Dune movie, it was disgusting, but nevertheless it's off topic, let's move forward. Intrigued by thoughts of wandering desolate, a world of sand, trying to survive in the harsh climates and coming across the occasional giant sandworm. You find yourself in a harsh environment and have no choice but to scavenge for resources to increase your challenges of staying alive. Starsand is a brand new survival game entering early access. What separates it is that, yep, it's in a desert. Well, there's more to it, but that's mainly accurate. It's not exactly the first desert survival game, but it's going to pique the curiosity of some folks and the same. The game is set to stay in early access until at least summer of 2022, and it's receive a full storyline as well as more areas and gameplay attributes. Hoping to use the elevation to spot another oasis to cling to, only to be met with the sands as far as the eye can see in every direction. To compound this feeling, there's no compass in stars, and the map is a blank sheet of pergament that you have to fill in by yourself using craftable waypoints. And even once my map was mostly filled out, it took me a long time to realize that the top of the map doesn't seem to be north, making it really easily to get turned around and lost recipe for disaster. To make travel even riskier, you can't even save your game whenever you want, but instead only at the craftable beds or tents, the resources of which are generally pretty cheap. The tipping point for me was when I discovered that you can tame and ride the camels that wander the dunes of Starsand with a 5 times your speed and 10 times your stamina. Taming one of these vehicles should be every player's top priority. They can be outfitted with saddlebags to allow you to relax, extend your reach to the very edges of the desert, and they make hunting and combat significantly easier, especially once you craft a bow and you can just casually shot vicious alien and hyenas while your camel keeps you a safe distance away. Once you have that kind of mobility, you are now able to discover secrets, crafting recipes, and all of the food and materials that you didn't even know existed. While on the food exploration really isn't rewarded well at all, and it's generally a coin toss on whether or not you even make it back alive with transplantation. I was able to find some really great locations in the game that really made me appreciate how small I was in this desert, and how I could feel me slowly overcoming its unrelating nature. This was definitely the most addicting aspect of Starsand as well. Slowly growing to be able to handle the extreme temperatures of the day and night, gearing myself to stand toe to toe with the giant alien centipedes. Early access title and consistent is pretty limited, however there are only about 50 different crafting recipes In a game, a small handful of enemies to fight and only a couple sets of weapons and armors. Also, it definitely has a Dune Strange Tremors feel to game, yet its current state is devoid of any real technology-based gameplay elements, so you limit it to only very basic tools. Your first order of business is to craft a cradle knife with rocks, which you end up dismantling because it's basically worthless. You can dismantle and crafted items to return a certain amount of whatever you used to make them. Shortly thereafter, I was tasked with destroying a plant to get materials to make a stone axe. Only I misunderstood one of the necessary components for something that I need to find and not something I need to craft. This led me to run forward into the vast nothingness until I happened to find an oasis. There are many features that tools to help you survive. You have a bottle of your disposal in Starsand, which will fill you water. You can also eat various fruits or hunt animals for their meat to cook on the campfires. The game only lets you save at a constructed shelter through. I ended up making the oasis with my first camp, as it had plenty of food and water to keep me alive for a while. It also had many palm trees which you can either climb or cut down for their food. You also craft weapons which you can use to fight someone, while there is no point giving away the supplies. Although I guess the game's Steam page already does that. The game optimization is decent for an indie survival game, as I was almost always at 60 FPS or above on the middle card. Starsand's goals can lack direction through, and its open doesn't give you much of indication of how to do a thing you are supposed to do. It doesn't take long for a game to have you set to building your first wooden base, but figuring out how to actually add a door to the foundation isn't the most obvious thing in the world. As for whatever I recommended, I'd say that Starsand is currently what in you are looking for a solid desert survival game, and especially if you want a bit of the otherworldly twist. Even when bearing in mind a not so surprising pivot, it isn't all that different from the other survival games. It has most of what we are used in games like this, and it performs adequately on the top of it. You could certainly do much worse. I didn't see any sandworms in my time with the demo, but they're in this somewhere along other dangers like packs of hyenas, massive gators, and giant septy-looking things. Of course, the biggest threat of the Innosab Desert itself. Starsand hit early access on the November 4th. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't you guys forget to comment and subscribe. I will leave all the links in the description, especially in Steam. You definitely have to try the survival. Bye!